Hello everyone on YouTube and welcome to my channel. I'm Shane, I'll be your host, and today I'm going to be talking to you about some D.Va play, particularly the intro D.Va play of what I'd like to call between 500 and 2000 SR, the D.Va players who know that they can do better than what they're doing, the players who need some help on getting some of the mechanics of D.Va down and some of her basic gameplay so that they can climb up into the ranks. The players who want to get out of bronze and silver and get into gold tier, these are the people that I'm going to be talking to today, so if you're those people, stay tuned. I will be helping you with the basics of D.Va. Before we get started with this guide, I will give you a quick rundown of my D.Va credentials so that you can see that I am an actual D.Va player. I'll give you games won for all of my competitive seasons, 459, and then I'll give you my win percentage on D.Va for all competitive seasons, 53%, and then in all modes, I'll give you time played on D.Va. That's 700, almost 700 hours on D.Va, 675. So I'd like to start off with just a few things about the defense matrix and about how powerful defense matrix actually is in the game. A lot of players don't realize how great the ability actually is. In addition to just blocking basic fire, your defense matrix, get this, this is why defense matrix was nerfed from 4 seconds to 2 seconds, as you can see. That's how long it lasts, about 2 seconds. It blocks Reaper's Death Blossom, May's Blizzard, Pharah's Rocket Barrage, Roadhog's Whole Hog, Hanzo's Dragon Strike, Tracer's Pulse Bomb, Zarya's Gravitation Surge. No, you're not. Moira's Biotic Orbs, the attack orb that she uses, and the healing orb that she throws out. You can defense matrix both of those. Junkrat's Grenades and Mines, Reinhardt's Fire Strike, Zenyatta's Destruction Orbs, Ana's Sleep Dart, and Biotic Grenade. Those are huge abilities, so you can shut down an Ana player by using defense matrix. Arisa's Halt ability can be defense matrixed. And then now portions of Soldier's Tactical Visor, McCree's Deadeye, Bastion's Tank Form, and Torb's Molten Core, of course, can be defense matrix. So when you have, for an example, I will show a McCree player that is using Deadeye, and I'm going to dive that player and defense matrix him and push him back away from our team. Of course, the game's over, so I'm essentially just preventing anybody from getting killed. I'm not going to be able to finish the kill onto him, but most McCree players, when you dive them like that in Deadeye, they will solely be focused on you because you're essentially going to overcome their entire frontal hitbox if you dive them with defense matrix. That allows your team members to LOS to safety in that situation. Of course, if you have a bunch of DPS alive and they're able to target him, you just put up your defense matrix. If you have your micro missiles available, you can just shoot him right in the face like this and get close to him. So I'll be showing that clip right here.
Straight ahead.
You can defense matrix the flashbang as well from McCree. Okay, now our team is going in, we're pushing in. I'm clearing some sim turrets there. I'm making sure that I'm not getting too close because you don't know where the microwave could be. There's the matrix on the Biotic Orb to get rid of Moira's extra damage. And I'm going to stay on this Symmetra right now, knowing that all of her turrets are clear. I'm going to finish off the Moira, and then I'm going to boop away the Reinhardt so that he can't swing his hammer freely on our team. And now getting up closer here, there's going to be the eat on the Hanzo Dragon Strike. So no Dragon Strike for you, Hanzo. And D.Va will give you a call out of denied or take cover every time you successfully eat an ultimate with her defense matrix. That's what's going to be happening here in this next clip, and now I'll roll it for you guys, and you can see firsthand how we can play this point with D.Va.
I almost have my ulti.
Oh, she did a trick shot on me.
I got you.
Thank
Get on there, get on there. I'll res you.
Fuck.
Reinhardt coming in. Watch it jamming. It's like, ISO go right for you. I was like, oh no.
I think he was mad that I headshot him earlier.
Yeah, that probably is.
Dragon coming in. Or not.
Now to wrap up our segment on use of defense matrix, I'll show you how you can use defense matrix in this next clip to protect one of your teammates while they are ulting so that they don't get shut down.
Routing power to forward shield. I'm on fire!
You're powered up. Get in there.
You gotta get out of the way!
Everyone knows when a particular hero is very strong and in the meta, particularly when pro players are utilizing them. And in this instance, I'm going to show you how to 1v1 Junkrat as D.Va. If any of your teammates are near that trap, then you need to call it out to them. But if you're going in solo, away from the rest of your team, just to take care of a pesky Junkrat that may be behind you or in a place where he can't really be supported by the rest of his team, then I will show you how to deal with him, and in that situation it won't really matter if you get trapped as D.Va because you'll have the defense matrix, you'll have the micro missiles as well, so aim for the head and defense matrix when you need to while you have the micro missiles up, and then also you can defense matrix his martyrdom should he die on top of you while you are trapped.
Nerf this!
Now I'm going to show you guys a couple clips here. The first one is going to be an Eichenwald push that we were unsuccessful in getting the second checkpoint, and there was a mistake that I did on this checkpoint, so I'm going to roll this one and I'm going to see if you guys can figure out what the mistake was.
Oh no no!
Him and his rockets.
Nice shade.
Thanks.
Third time hit me with those rockets point blank. Ooh.
Almost got grabbed. What's plus one?
Ooh, I don't know if we can make that.
99.
Dang.
Just missed it.
So that is very critical there, keeping your teammates alive in that situation, and that was my own mistake of not keeping track of where that soldier's tactical visor was, and not being in a position to dive him, possibly boop him off the edge, block the visor, and kill him, while gaining enough ult charge to stay alive, and keeping both of my support players alive, which was imperative, and I failed in that task to keep my Mercy and my Ana player alive there. I did get the self-destruct off, but it wasn't enough to save the checkpoint because we lost too many people because of that mistake. And this next clip is going to be a first point hold on Hanamura. We are able to get a clutch teleporter here. I heard the call out from my teammate, and I was going to go in and try to get as many kills as I could with the self-destruct, and then I remech'd and I was able to help stall the point until our reinforcements arrived.
But I'm gonna look before I say anything more. Because people have heard me snort, so that's not gonna do it for you.
That Hanamura first point hold came down to the clutch teleporter that was able to be deployed there, which allowed our team to respawn quickly enough so that we were able to hold that point, getting a couple self-destruct kills there, and then taking down the Roadhog was big for me in order to secure that win for our team. Now, I'll be showing you a few of the basics of what I like to do when you don't have a Lucio with a boop ready or a Roadhog that's already used his hook. You can push players off the edge and get environmental kills. When players get out of position, they get too close to the edge, you can just easily boop them off and get free kills that way. That's really going to help out your team a lot when you do that. And that's a great tool to have in your back pocket, especially when you're on maps like the Ilios Well, or you're on the ledge in the Sanctum of Nepal. I'm going to show you some clips of what I've been able to do with D.Va's boosters and her mech and just boot people down into oblivion. It's the best kills you can get in this game, environmental kills. They're not resible.
Gemeinsam kämpfen wir. Defense matrix active this. My servants clever guys. Nothing's gonna stop me. Fire!
This is a situation that I see a lot of D.Va players not take advantage of with the self-destruct, especially when you just get the checkpoint on payload maps, particularly Numbani or Junkertown or Dorado, where you just began pushing the payload, you have your ultimate charge up, you didn't have to use it in the previous fight, you take the high ground, you're going to scout a little bit. That team's responding to the payload push that you're making now with your team. You take the high ground, you kind of peek a little bit, or you have like a Tracer or Genji go flank up and tell you where the position of the enemy team is. If you know where the position of the enemy team is, then you go ahead and you launch that mech, because that's going to keep them staggered so that they won't be able to really contest as well as they could on that second checkpoint that's coming up. So I'll give you guys a little look at what I would do in this situation. Would be to drop that down and see if you can get a couple picks off of that, you know, because it can be big to especially take down one or two support players that can really turn the tide in a team fight that is coming right up around the corner.
I love it when he reflex while I'm hitting him. It just doesn't do any good, but it's fun to watch.
I'm good, I got healing.
Huge.
Oh yeah.
Alright, we got it. We good.
GG. Now for this example, maybe you've got some enemy teammates that are trapped in a room or in a corner. I'm going to show you an example of a player that I was against that was playing Orisa, and they put down their Orisa shield. They were pretty far back from their Orisa shield, maybe 5 or 6 meters off of that shield. And so once they put down that Orisa shield, they can't put a new one down for X amount of seconds, like what, 8, 9 seconds. So you have that freedom to launch your mech in that amount of time, and they won't be able to do anything to block it. So as long as they don't have a Winston or Reinhardt that has a barrier that can put it down, you can kind of freely use that as soon as Orisa puts down her shield, because generally her teammates are going to be behind that barrier. So if they're playing a little bit far back, they won't be able to LOS it behind that shield that she just put down. So I'll give you an example of that real quick.
Nerf this. Check out. Nerf this. I'm on fire.
Now, in terms of D.Va Bomb, there's a lot of different positions that you can throw this thing from and to, and it really depends on your team's position and the position of the enemy team. And I'll give you some examples of what I like to do when I launch my D.Va Bomb, and this is something that I spent several hours in custom games practicing. So I'll show you some basic stuff right here. A lot of people like to throw it in the air like this, and then it's going to drop down, and it's going to get a few kills up there. Keep in mind, when it does drop down, you will be getting head damage from it. So if the group that you're going after is kind of on the ground and you want to throw it high so that it can drop down onto their heads just like that.
Nerf this. Now show them.
In this next segment, I'm going to be showing you how to deal with Pharah Mercy solely by your D.Va mech bombs and the placement of them, so that regardless where the Pharah and Mercy are located, you'll be able to get that arc in order to destroy them mid-flight.
Nerf this. Systems checked out. Ready to roll. Game on. Boosters engaged. Nerf this. All systems checked out. Nerf this. Double up. Nerf this. I'm on fire. Game on. Ejecting. Time to raise my DPS. Nerf this. Up. I'm on fire.
Nanoboost administered.
Game on. Nerf this. I'm on fire. Behind you. Damage boost engaged.
Now, in terms of highlight intros, this is the one you never want to see at the end of the game from the enemy Pharah. So here's how to stop it.
I will watch over you. I still have use for you.
Justice rain from above.
Flames from above.
Routing towers forward barrier.
I'm on fire.
Enemy down. I'm on fire. It's a good thing I brought in a fast. Get through. I'm on fire.
For this next segment, I'd like to focus on comboing with Reinhardt and Zarya, and what you can do with those D.Va bombs with a nice Earth Shatter or Graviton Surge.
Alright, D&D is good to go. I think after this game I'm gonna see if my draw time is up, because I'm getting so tired of her like not texting me.
Now show them.
To toe, you coward.
The minds are
Now show them. I'm ready to
Fire
initiate
at will.
self-destruct sequence. Nerf this.
Have a shield generator.
Game on.
Fire at will.
Nerf this.
Pass into the iris.
Systems checked out. Weapons offline.
The next tip I'd like to share with you is not overlapping your ultimates, and this doesn't just apply to like support ultimates when you have a Zenyatta hitting Transcendence and then a Lucio hitting Sound Barrier at the same time. If you have stuff like that happening, you just have to coordinate on your team. This is something that happened in quick play, so it's understandable, but in terms of competitive, you guys have to be very sure to be vocal about comboing with the Zarya Graviton Surge and Reinhardt's Earth Shatter. That's something that if you have Hanzo with Dragon Strike ready on your team, you should give that combo to him, because it'll be much easier for him to get that Dragon Strike off during those stuns. And you can get pretty good D.Va bombs, usually 2 to 3 people per game, if you have that positioning that we talked about earlier. So I would say, you know, hey, Tracer Pulse Bomb, Hanzo Dragon Strike should always come first with the Earth Shatter and the Grav. But this is what happens when I wasn't able to communicate with my teammates on stuff. So you'll get this once in a while, but you can usually clear it up with just some simple communication, so keep that in mind for the future.
fire at will.
Game on.
Another important tip for D.Va players is to be able to follow up on your kills. And what I mean by that is taking advantage of players on the enemy team who have extremely low HP. We're talking about under 50 health per hero, and being able to finish off those kills so that they can't get back to their team, they can't heal up, they can't hurt your backline, and they can't take out your support players. And what I mean by that, I will show you in the next clips. So we're going to see a nice whole hog from Dingus, but unfortunately, by the size of my mech getting in the way, or from the Ana player on our team just not being able to get that nano boost on him, they delivered the nano boost to me, but that's okay, because when you get nanoed as D.Va, you're pretty powerful. You're going to take a 50% damage reduction, and you're going to do more damage. So you can be able to finish off those targets very quickly with a D.Va nano boost. So that's not something that I would recommend on the players to give you all the time. Sometimes it's just more beneficial to like nano Soldier's Tactical Visor, or nano a Reaper, or nano a Tracer, but in this situation we made the most out of it. So I will roll the film and you can see what's going on.
You're powered up. Get in there.
You better get out of the way. Triple. Then be D.Va. Nerf this.
I will watch over you.
Shut down. Nerf this. All systems check out. MVP. D.Va. I'm back in the fight. Nerf this. All systems check out. Game on. Matrix activated.
Fire at will.
I'm on fire. Get through this. I think that I will a little undercooked.
In this next segment, I'll be talking about how hallways are your friend when you're launching your D.Va bomb. If you have a corridor like the one on Numbani from point 2 to point 3, the underpass there, you have a little L-shaped area on a certain area of Nepal there when you have the enemy team go down low and try to go to that middle choke point. There's that L-shaped corridor, and sometimes I've had a lot of success with my D.Va self-destructs in that area, so I'll be showing you a clip from there. Always aim for support players when you're launching your D.Va bomb first, if you're able to. In terms of winning the team fight, it would be taking out the support players first. So if you're able to get a self-destruct on the Mercy, then that is the biggest pick that you can possibly get. If they have like a Lucio and a Zen for more of a King of the Hill control map situation, then taking out that Zenyatta player would be big in terms of winning the team fight. That means no Transcendence, the Lucio meaning no sound barrier, no protection for their team to sustain them in that fight. So obviously the key would be to aim for the support players first. I can't stress that enough. It's nice to get a huge amount of ult charge on Winston and Roadhog, but if the Mercy is still living, then that's going to be a problem for you.
No, no, no. That was beautiful.
So I'll roll the film and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about.
Game on. Nerf this.
Pass into the iris.
Now show them. Nerf this. I'm on fire. Now show them. Nerf this. Building up. I'm on fire. I'm back in this fight. Nerf this. I'm on fire. Game on.
For this last segment, I'm going to talk about a competitive win that I had. D.Va versus D.Va action. We've got Junkrat traps being the anti-Soldier 76, peeling for your supports, and teamwork. These are all very, very important things. I'm going to break down each video for you. To start things off, during the competitive win, I'm going to show this was a final push on King's Row. All we needed to do was just to get to that second checkpoint to win. The gold box of victory was right in front of us. Everybody was getting a little antsy, a little excited to win this one. I was launching the D.Va bomb a little prematurely. The Zarya grab wasn't quite comboed with me the way that I needed it to be, and but the Mercy and the Lucio were trapped inside of it, so that was still a big win for us. We were able to crush that team and move forward, but it's the little things like that when you're against teams in the upper tiers, Plat, Diamond, Master, stuff like that, you're going to have some trouble if you're not able to coordinate to an exact time frame with the Grav and the D.Va bomb. So there's some sloppiness there that I could clean up. So I'm going to make you aware of that and what's going on in terms of peeling for your supports, keeping those people alive, keeping your healers alive when they're getting flanked by Tracer and Genji and the obnoxious Sombra. Those are characters that you shouldn't be able to kill easily with D.Va, but you will be able to keep your supports alive at least long enough for your DPS to get back and to help deal with them if you need to create a little bit of space for your McCree or for your own Tracer. Just give them a little bit of time to get back there and help take care of that Tracer or that Genji or whatnot and force them to retreat, because there's nothing more frustrating for your support players and your support friends to have to deal with an obnoxious Tracer, Genji, a Sombra, any kind of like flanker, a Doomfist constantly in your back line. That's not good. So if you're constantly having to look behind you because you don't have DPS that can take care of those flankers, then that's going to be a problem. You can't solely rely on your D.Va player to do that if you are D.Va. So keep that in mind. I know you're going to do the best that you can with D.Va to try to keep that your Mercy and your Zenyatta and Ana alive as long as possible. But, you know, if DPS help doesn't show up, then that's going to be an issue. Junkrat traps need to be called out unless your team are a good distance away from them, a dozen meters or so or further. Then don't worry about it if you're in a team fight. I'm going to show you this clip of me taking care of a Junkrat, and then as soon as the point is secured from the aggression attack, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to clear that Junkrat trap. In terms of teamwork, we're going to see a great clip of Dingus using his Orisa Halt ability to keep people in my mech self-destruct radius on a brilliant defense round of Hanamura. And we're also going to see how D.Va players can overreact and send their mechs in at the wrong time after they have half of their team wiped by another counter D.Va ult. So keep that in mind. I'm going to show you this clip of a D.Va responding to my triple kill of their team by sending their mech in and getting 0 kills. So essentially that player wasted their D.Va mech ult because half of their team was dead. They couldn't push in and secure the point by themselves, essentially. So you'll see that. So we'll roll the film here.
This.
Drop the beat.
Fire.
I will watch over you.
Get through this. Nerf this. Game on. APM double number time to raise my APM. I'm just getting warmed up. Nerf this. Double up. Game on.
So I'll talk a little bit about D.Va stats and where you typically want to be with this hero. So don't get overly caught up in stats. It's just a good way to measure where you are compared to the other near 400,000 D.Va players who are ranked in the quick rank system on Overbuff. So you can go to overbuff.com and you can type in your battle tag and your name, and you can see where you rank compared to all the other D.Va players in the world. So this is per 10 minutes. So that's where you have stats here that are higher than, like, you know, normal. Like, you would never get more than 4 medals per match on D.Va. Occasionally there's a bug where there's a bronze medal that you might get for, like, healing done or something. They just needed to fix that. It was brought over in the last PTR patch. Now, in terms of eliminations to deaths, you want to be about, I would say, 5 to 6 to 1. 5 or 6 eliminations per every death. That means that you're winning most of your team fights, and that's what you want to be doing with her. You want to be supporting your team and winning your team fights, helping your team succeed. Damage done with her is not really important. I'm in the top 1%, but damage doesn't really make you a good D.Va player overall. What makes you a good D.Va player is your weapon accuracy, your damage blocked, and you being able to stay alive, stay in that mech as long as possible. Having an insanely high amount of mech recalls will help you. Being a good bunny blaster, staying in a good position when you are pilot D.Va so that you're back far enough where it makes you very, very difficult to hit. You can crouch spam, you can hop around a little bit, you can LOS with the payload or with crates or anything that you can find to make sure that you can survive and recall that mech when you need to. And of course, self-destruct kills are huge, and that being, 4 for every 10 minutes or so, that's big. So that means that you're getting good use out of your ultimate, and that's always important. Of course, time on fire. This is my highest hero in Overwatch for time on fire at almost 20%. So that means that you are closing out kills, you're staying in your mech, you're staying alive, you're supporting your team, you're eating ultimates, and you're doing all the things that D.Va players need to do to be successful and win matches in Overwatch. I know this has been an incredibly long video and I've thrown a ton of D.Va information at you all at once, but that's the beauty of YouTube. You can just go back, you can rewatch certain parts that you want to, you can skip other stuff that you're already familiar with and already are a master of, and you can use this as a guide as long as you like. I want to thank you so much for watching this and subscribing to my channel and supporting my video work, and I hope to bring you guys some more guides on other heroes that I've been playing in the future, so stay tuned for more. Thank you, and have a good night.